Today I'm going to show you exactly how you can scrape Indeed for job listings, then scrape their company's profile within Indeed, then extract their website to find decision makers for that company, and then add those leads, add an icebreaker message, a personalized icebreaker message, and add the leads into your Instantly campaign automatically using n8n, with the powerhouse being a tool called BrightData.com. So looking into the automation, I've already set it off. It takes a second or two to run. And this is what the whole scenario looks like. So basically what it's going to do here at the start, what it's doing right now is scraping Indeed for the job listings that I've specified. So what I've done is I've come over to Indeed.com, and what I've done is I've specified a search URL. Let me just verify that I am a human. So I've created a search, and then from the search, I've checked that these are all the jobs that I want and what I'm targeting. And then I copied this exact URL and then pasted it within this HTTP request. So it's scraping the search URL right here. You can see the search URL that it's scraping. Now what it's going to do is it's going to wait till it's scraped, and we can also see within BrightData, the scraper that we are using, it is running. And it's currently running, and we're going to wait till this is complete. The reason I'm so interested in BrightData is because it powers part of Apify, and I love Apify so much, so I had to give Indeed BrightData a go. And then instantly, the last step is that within this test campaign, we should soon see 2 leads with personalized email icebreakers be added to this lead section within this campaign. Now, I might pause this for a second and I'll show you guys exactly how long it takes to run. It looks like it's waiting there, but it looks a bit glitched. So I'm going to get back to you guys. The time is currently at 7:32 p.m. and you'll see exactly what the time is when it's finished. Okay, so the scraping is finished and it is 2 minutes later. You can see I've also been sent an email to notify me in case I'm scraping a lot of data and creating a lot of icebreakers and scraping a lot of data. It could take some time, so I get an email notification once the flow is finished. It says, hey, you have successfully scraped data from Indeed using BrightData. View campaign. All information has been put into your Instantly campaign with an icebreaker message. Congratulations. Cheers. And then we get provided with the campaign. We click on this. Let's go to test. It didn't take me directly there, which is a bit odd. Must have been some verification issue on my end. And then we can see here we have 10 leads. There are 10 leads because we use Hunter to scrape multiple different emails, multiple different decision makers from a company. And then we put all of this information in: the contact, the website, and most importantly, the icebreaker message, personalized for each one of these leads. We can see here, what does it look like? It's a bit hard to see here, but we get personalized icebreaker messages. So we're going to be building this out today step by step. Okay, so to start this off, I've created myself this very rough guideline that I'm going to follow in building this automation. So I'm going to have a trigger, standard trigger here, and then I'm going to scrape Indeed for job listings. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that data scraped from Indeed and create an icebreaker message that we can use in a cold email sequence. Then I'm going to find the emails using hunter.io and then import the leads automatically into Instantly.ai. So this is the rough guideline that I'm going to follow, and the core of this is going to be built with a tool called BrightData. It's a tool I've been testing recently to see what it's all about. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how you can use it as well. It's also surprisingly cheap to run, which is always a good thing. Now, I think to build out this flow, first we need to scrape Indeed for job listings. And for that, I think I'm going to first run the scraper in BrightData to see that I have all the correct inputs. Once I see I have all the correct inputs, I'm then going to connect it through an HTTP request to n8n. So first off, when you head over to brightdata.com, then you can create a free account. There's a free trial that you can also use. And what we're looking for is web scrapers. So if you head down the left-hand side, web scrapers, and then go over to Web Scraper Library. This is where you'll be able to find multiple different built-in web scrapers within BrightData, and the one we are looking for is Indeed. So here's Indeed here under Business. Or you can also find this scraper by simply searching Indeed in the search bar. And the one we're looking for is Discover by URL. There's also a very similar one, so don't get mixed up here. There's a Indeed job listings information collect by URL and Discover by URL. Collect by URL is a scraper that only lets you scrape the information for one job listing. So one job listing that, say, Toyota posts a job listing about an automation engineer. That's one job opportunity. That's all this scraper scrapes. So ensure you have the discover by URL, so then we can provide a whole a search bar, which I'll show you in a second, so that the scraper can scrape multiple different jobs. And to test this, we're going to do no code scraper. Later on, we're going to go to Scraper API so that we can connect it to n8n. Then you can see some example inputs in here. We're going to clear all of these because we're going to add our own. And to add our own, I've already created a search, but I'll go back. You'll need to search in Indeed, indeed.com. And usually it will take you directly to your location, which is a bit annoying sometimes. Sometimes I want to just be able to search for my own locations, because then in here you're limited to your your country's location. So it's a bit annoying, but you can get the whole of Indeed and then search it anywhere in the world if you would like. But in my case, I don't mind too much, and I'm going to do automation specialist, find jobs, and then all I'm going to do is copy this URL here, and then add input, paste the URL there. I'm going to limit per input to 5 items, i.e. 5 job posts, and then start collecting. So you can imagine if you didn't limit it, then it would scrape through all of these posts. But I want to limit it because I don't really need at the moment. I'll sign up, why not? I don't really need all those job postings for the testing purposes. Just all I want to find out is whether the scraper actually works and the inputs I'm putting in are actually correct, are configured correctly. And this is asking for my phone number, so I'm actually not going to sign up then. Indeed job search. So what do? We did this. There we go. And now this is going to run away. Sometimes it takes a second or two. I'm starting to muddle up my words. It's been a big day. Also, this snapshot ID, you can see here, this is what we're going to use within n8n to retrieve the data. I believe they call it a dataset ID in Apify. It's called a snapshot ID here. Also, something that's going to be important in the URL later on is going to be the scraper ID, which if we zoom in here, if I can't. But you can see up the top here, there's this GD underscore with a little ID there. That is the scraper ID that you need to use in your HTTP request, and we'll use a little later on. And I think in the meantime, while this takes a second to load, I will just wait and then get back to you guys. Okay, so it's scraped, and it looks like we can see here under number of records that there are 5 items, which is good. So that's all I really need to know. You can download these outputs. I believe you can choose, the format. But I don't need to look at this for now. It took 3 minutes 50 seconds. Yeah, so that's good. And now what we're going to do is we're going to head back to web scrapers, go back to web scraper library, search in Indeed once again, because now we are going to use the second option, Scraper API, to connect this over to n8n. Now what we need to go is API request builder. Then, this is super simple. This is the good thing with n8n. If we go here, we're going to trigger manually. Click the plus icon. I'm going to do HTTP request. Then it's going to be a post method. I know this because we are performing an action within BrightData. We're going to request this scraper to scrape Indeed and the URL, all we need to do, we don't actually need to configure any of this. We can simply copy this. And because this is in curl, as we can see at the start here, we can click import curl, paste that, and then it automatically configures everything. All of the query parameters and even the authorization, which is just simply your authorization, your BrightData API key, which you can find in account settings, and then API keys here. So that's all that is. Simply all that is. I'm going to come back into the API editor. I'm not sure if I needed anything else. I don't think I should need anything else. The only thing down here in JSON, this is where we put the URL. So if we go here, we delete all of that, and then if I delete the current example Indeed URL there, and then in between these quotes, I can copy this URL we had from before, in between these quotes, and now I can test this entirely within n8n and HTTP request to ensure I have everything configured correctly. So super simple to do since we're able to import the curl directly from BrightData. So I'm going to run this. We got a success message, and now we get that snapshot ID. This is what we can use to retrieve the data back. And to confirm the scraper is running, we can head back to BrightData. We can go to web scrapers, and we can see under the Indeed job listing information discovered by URL scraper, and we can see it's running, and we can see this is from the scraper API and not the no-code scraper because we selected the scraper API earlier on. Now this is going to run. It's going to take a second or two to complete because we don't have limits, so we might get quite a few results. Yeah, so I'll have to look into the API and see where I can add a limit because I don't always want to run this, although it shouldn't matter. I'll just run it this time and then pin the data for that. So I'm going to say for this, run Indeed scraper. We could also later on make the trigger a form or something where the user inserts like a Indeed URL that they want to scrape, and then it will trigger the scenario. And then down in here under JSON, and in this URL, this will be a dynamic variable that is mapped, that is taken from the form, from the form's answer where the user puts in their Indeed URL. That is something that could be a possibility. But before that, I think what I want to do is, if we head over here, because I did install the BrightData community node that is verified by Apify, so you can also get this on the cloud version. I'm on the cloud version. But what you can get is check the status of a batch extraction. This checks the status, i.e. checks if the status is running or if it's ready. So I'm going to get the snapshot ID. It's a web scraper monitor progress snapshot. I'm going to pin this so it doesn't run again. And let's see the output. So it says running, which is correct. If we head back in here, it says the status is running. And then I basically want to wait. I want this automation to wait a little bit if the scraper is still running, and to see whether it's running or if it's complete. What I'm going to do is add a switch node. And I'm going to say if the status is equal to running here, then I want the output name to be still running, scraper still running. And then I'm going to add another one to say if the status is equal to ready. I assume it's called ready because here it's called ready in the status. I might be wrong. Scraper complete. And then once we do this, we now have two outputs, which I'm actually going to change because I don't like the way it looks. Or I might say complete running. because if you can see here, running, I'll just show you guys why I'm doing this. It's not necessary, but you can see here it kind of looks not nice. So to make it look nicer, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch these around to say if it's equal to ready, running, just switch these around. There we go. Complete. Running. Make sure there's no white space around it. There we go. Because basically what I want to do is if it's running, then I want to wait like maybe 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute, and then change this to minutes. And then I want to head back to this BrightData node to check the status again. And then once it's complete, I will want to get the snapshot. So get the data from that scraper. It's still running. I think it will take a bit longer because I didn't put a limit on that. I'm hoping it doesn't retrieve a whole bunch of information. It might though. It might though. If I head over to billing, we can see how much. We're at $12.30. We're at $12.30. Let's refresh to ensure it is there. We're at $12.11 now. So let's see how far down that gets. We're at 12.11. Let's add a reminder here because I'm curious how much this is going to cost. $12.11. $12.11. Two. Does it automatically? Yeah. 2 something. And let's see what it goes to. Okay. So if it's complete, then I already kind of know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to wait until this is complete to show you guys. Yes. So I think I'll just stop it here and wait until it's complete and then get back to you guys. Okay. So it has finished running. We've got 116 job posts. Now, if we run this again, it should go down the complete section. There we go. Because it is now in a status of ready. Now, what we can do is get the snapshot ID. So if we go to BrightData's nodes again, then what we want to do is download the snapshot content, batch size, and the parts. I'm actually looking into what these actually do. Okay. So it looks like the batch size is just the amount of data you want within each request. And then the snapshot ID, we just put that in here. Because you guys are learning with me a little bit as well. How BrightData works. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I think, pin this also, and then I'm going to run this and see if it downloads this content. So we can see it's got those 116 items, 116 records, as they call it in BrightData, and we can look at it. Now if we drag this over, what kind of data do we have? We have company name, date posted, job title, the description. Ah, it's in Dutch. But some of it's not in Dutch. I didn't really want it to be in Dutch, but it's okay. We're using AI to analyze it anyway. Job type, location, country, date posted, which is interesting. Description. I'm seeing, are these different? Okay, so these kind of look the same. These seem to be the exact same. Yeah, they seem to be the exact same. Region, company link, domain, URL, location again, and then just a whole bunch of different data. Okay, So now we have a bit of data to work with. I'm going to pin this also. Now what do we want to do? Now that we're getting this data, I guess what we do is I guess we loop through them. I guess we loop through the nodes. I guess we loop through the nodes. So I guess we had a loop, or not nodes, data. I guess we loop through each item. Let me just run this. I just want to see the data that we're getting now. So if we head into this loop node, we have one item, so the batch size is one item. Because we want to only pass through one item per run. And then we could feed this directly into OpenAI now to create a personalized first line. Or we could add Hunter now. No. I think what we're going to do is add OpenAI. Why? Because I want to push things forward a little bit and just figure out things after I've done this first part. Maybe I want to add things after the kind of core, the MVP, the prototype is complete. So I'm going to go to OpenAI and then message a model. I'm going to say, you are a helpful, intelligent writing assistant that that creates icebreaker lines from job listings. And this is going to be a system prompt. Then we're going to do a user prompt. Your job is to create an icebreaker message for companies that are currently hiring. That are currently hiring. Oh, I'm looking at my grammar up here and I'm like, what am I doing? You are a helpful, intelligent writing assistant that creates personalized. Your job is to create, let me make this an expression. Your job is to create an icebreaker message for companies that are currently hiring on Indeed.com. On Indeed.com. I'm thinking, how do I want to do this? I probably want to add this to a cold email campaign, so what should it be like? So I want to create some sort of template within the icebreaker message, a very rough template. Here is a very rough template. Hi, name. I found you, or I saw you recently. Your job. I see you recently posted on Indeed about thing. I saw you recently posted on Indeed about thing / job position about thing. In the industry, so thought I'd reach out. I'm in the industry, so I thought I'd reach out. I think we can leave it at that for now. This would, of course, need a lot of iterating and thinking about, but for the sake of keeping this short, I'm just gonna keep it at that for now. I don't really like it. It might bug me for a bit of time because I don't really like how this is written, but I'll just have to leave it. Okay, okay, let's just leave it. Okay, so here is the job listing. Add another message. Here is the job listing information from Indeed.com. Title. Oh, title. We do have a job title here. There we go. Job title. Drag and drop that there. Then job information. Then I guess we just insert the description text. I'm not sure what's the difference between description text and just the description. Location. Just feed in all this custom data. Job type. Then we're going to be doing location and then country. Let's see how this looks down here. BE. Date posted. I think that could be some interesting information. There we go. Anything else we would need here? Domain URL. I think that's good. I think that's okay. And then one thing I want to do actually is output. Let me drag up here. Output your response in this JSON format. I think I want to do this. Let me see if I can remember how to do this. What do we want to? Icebreaker. And then this. Just like that, I think. Icebreaker. I think that's good. And then we'll output the content as JSON. Do we need to select a model? Horror. Right, let's do that one. I believe 4.1 is the latest, actually. I'll be fine. That was quick. Icebreaker. Hi, Florence. I saw you recently posted on Indeed about the stakeholder analyst role at Matixi. Also, as someone passionate about marketing analytics and stakeholder engagement, I thought I'd reach out. Yeah, I do not like that. I I absolutely do not like that. If we have some time at the end, I'm going to change that because I do not like that at all. The reason I'm going to leave it for now is because it's just a matter of prompting and making it sound better, which all you have to do is um, change this prompt here, this part of the prompts, your template. So it's not like a fundamental component of this automation. Well, it is in terms of the end result, but it doesn't really affect the functionality of the automation, which is really what I'm trying to get done here. Just retrieve all the data and be able to do all of that. So yeah, that's okay for now. Then what I think I want to do, because we cannot really, or we cannot add this to an Instantly campaign without having an email. So from here, we're not provided with a website, which is a bit annoying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that there. But yeah, I'm going to keep that there. After this, I think I'm going to... I think I'm going to get the email. So I'm going to see... if there's another BrightData web scraper. Let's go, web scrapers, let's go to Indeed. Let's see, maybe I could use this collect by URL one. And then go no code scraper. I just want to see the information that I get. Do we get a view job link from this output? Or maybe I'll look in here. Do we get a view job link? We got a bunch of links at the end. We do. We get like this view job link. So I'm gonna copy, clear this, add an input, paste that. Okay, and then I'm gonna run this. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. So I'm gonna start collecting and see what data it chooses. Also, I forgot to do before. How much did it cost? No. That says it didn't cost anything. Maybe it changed on the first part because it went down from 12.20 to 12.11, so it cost 9 cents. Give or take. Because I remember I refreshed as it was running and then the balance went down. So I think it cost 9 cents for the scraper before to get the 116 records. And this is already done. Okay. I'm gonna go to logs. I'm gonna actually download this, I think, because I want to see the information it gets, although it doesn't matter. But I want to see if it's the right data and if it's something worth doing. Do we get... Okay, that's a mess. I don't know why I opened up in cursor. I'm just going to ask. Is there a website URL in here? Okay. So it's quite a lot of information, actually. Let me know if you want to extract just the domain. Where's it getting the domain from? Because I want to get their website so that I can then get their email address. So I want to get this website. So maybe, can we scrape this URL maybe? I'm not sure. Let's try that. Let's give it a go. I'm going to head back into BrightData. Let's go initiate. Clear all of this, add inputs, this URL. Let's see if it works. It doesn't. Maybe if we tried the other one. Indeed. I'm going to try the scraper we had before. Discover by URL. Let's clear all of these. I don't think this will work, to be honest. Limit to 1. Let's start collecting. I don't think this is going to work. Also, we're limited to the information, actually, now I think of it, that is within here. Let's see. We got a view job, indeed.com, company link. So it looks like, oh, we do have it. We do have this URL. Okay, that's cool. Because then, hopefully if we can scrape this, we can get the link that I see there. Because if we go back to n8n, then we go to their job listing one. Yeah, there's only a URL that takes them to their company page, but nothing about a website. So if we can scrape this, then we can get their website, and then we can use Hunter to get the emails to their website for emails to reach out to. So let's see how it's going. It's running at the moment. I'm gonna just wait and then get back to you guys once it's finished. Okay, so that outputted nothing, as we can see here. 0 records. But I did find when I went into Indeed that there was Indeed companies info, discover by industry and state, or there's also, where are we? Indeed companies discover by keyword, so we can search company by company name. and we do get the company name right here. So we could see if this works. I'm going to do the no code one again. Keyword, I'm going to use just this company name. Enter that there, limits. I'm not going to limit it because it's just one page. And then start collection. Hopefully this works now because this is very clearly the company name, and then hopefully it scrapes this, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a website. If we don't get a website, we might have to look around at some alternative options. There's a few different things I have in mind. This was the main one. I'm really hoping this one works, this option works. But we will very soon see. So let's run this out. Okay, so I finished running the scraper and I downloaded it as a CSV to look at the data. And good news, we do indeed have the website. So this is extremely good. We also get some more information about their company on the Indeed page, but the main thing being the website. So now we can use this scraper in make.com, n8n. So I'm going to connect this up now. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go to the Indeed, and then Indeed discover by keyword, and this time the scraper API. I'm going to do the exact same thing as before, API request builder, and I'm simply going to copy this, the exact same thing as before. Head back into n8n, then I am going to add another node, and I'm going to do an HTTP request. I'm going to center this, import the curl, import. Everything's been changed, so we really don't have to do anything at all, which is pretty cool. And then the only thing we're going to change, we don't need to worry about any of this. All we need to change is the keyword. The keyword being, if we go back to the loop over items node, I cannot see it at the moment. So what I'm going to do is try to map it myself. I need to find the name. It's called this. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to do a bit of formatting and it should work. I'm going to make this an expression for one. Then I'm going to do two curly brace, space, $, node, and then it should be this, single quotes, loop over items, and then .item, .json, .company name, undefined, .json. If this doesn't work, it should be turning green. I might actually try to just run this and see what happens, because I want this to be showing. Unfortunately, it's not, and I'm not too sure why. No fields, node executed, but no items were sent on this branch. Let me try this. I'm going to place this directly in here. Then what I'm going to do is get this company name. Where is it? Right here. Going to drag and drop it in here. Then it can't just be JSON dot company name. So I'm going to do node loop over items with some quotes dot item dot JSON company name. I think it might just be tricking us because this should work. This should work. because we have to reference the node when this HTTP request isn't directly after the loop over items node. So for example, here, I actually want to see here because you can see, do not reference the node. There we go, okay. So you can see here when a node isn't directly after the node you're referencing. So for example here, this HTTP request was here. So in that case, you have to reference the name of the node, which is loop over items, to be able to get that data. So here, that's what I was trying to do, reference the node name. And it turns out you no longer have to say node. I believe in earlier versions, you did have to specify node, but now it doesn't look like you have to, which is good. So now once we've mapped that, this should work. This should indeed work, and we should get the company name. So let's test this out. It might take a second or two before it took 3 minutes, give or take, to run. It says this is not valid JSON. This is why. I have this down here. Now let's run this. I'm also going to pin this so it doesn't keep on running. There we go. So it's run. Now what we're going to do is do the exact same process as before with these switch nodes to wait until the information, i.e. the scraper, has finished processing. And to do that, we also need to check the status. So I'm going to copy and paste that over here. Right down here. Put that into there. Let's see, I need to unpin this. And then go down here. So now it will do the same thing as before. Check if the scraper is running. If it is, then it will wait for 1 minute. But if it's complete, it will go down the complete path. For now, I'm just going to wait and look within BrightData to wait until it's finished. We can see here, it's actually finished already, which is cool to see. So let's pin this and then go down here. And it's complete. That was pretty quick that time. How long did that take? Does it say? Logs maybe? 57 seconds. That's a pretty big difference. Okay. Now, we can also copy this over here. So we're kind of copying the exact same process. There could be a better way to do this. Perhaps scraping right at the start. But then you need to scrape Indeed and then scrape that, scrape the Indeed company profiles. So I think this is the best way, because here we are kind of within this loop node and this loop field that we're creating now. This is for the specific company. Then this part of the scraper is for all of the companies, right? So this is for processing each individual company. So I do think this is a good or okay way to do it. So I'm going to continue doing it this way. I'm going to unpin this, and then I'm going to get the snapshot. See if it gets to the snapshot. I'm going to pin this data. Let's see. Here we go, and now we get the website. This is what I want. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pin this data also. I'm going to add a hunter. Get every email address, verify the deliverability, generate, get every email address found on the internet using a given domain name. I think this one we're going to use domain search, and then the domain is going to be this. And only emails, I'm going to limit it. I don't really want any more than 5, to be honest. Maybe even less, maybe 3. And then seniority, executive. I only want executives. Department, let's see this. Not support. Maybe management. Executive, definitely. Maybe management also. What else might we want? Marketing, sales, probably not. Legal, HR, maybe. Although if we're selling as like an agency, maybe HR wouldn't be the best, but I'm going to put it in there. Then type, what's type? Personal, generic, I'm not too fast. Okay, I'm going to rename all of this. I'm going to say, what is this? Scrape companies, Indeed page. Then that's all good. Extract email. There we go. Now let's see how this does. Let's see, we got no output. Let me see if I delete all of these filters. If I do then get an output. We do. Okay. What if I go seniority? Because I would like just executives. What if I do this? Let's see what happens. Cool. I think seniority of an executive is okay. Because we really want to be targeting the decision makers. We can see here we have the CFO, the sales officer, the marketing officer. Really, I'm not sure whether these would be people we would want to target or not. I'm going to go 10. Because we'll really be looking for managers, CEOs, and things like that. Okay, so these are only 3. Maybe this one, but also maybe not. Yes. Okay. The main thing is that we've got some higher up people to reach out to. So I'm going to pin that data also. And then I think now that we have the emails, we could add this information into Instantly, although maybe it would be better to put this into a Google Sheet. I'm just thinking with 3 email addresses. Or maybe you send the same email to 3 email addresses. I'm thinking on the best way to do this. Maybe you add 3 different leads with the same icebreaker message. Maybe. You know what? We're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're just going to create 3 separate leads with the same icebreaker message because they're to the same company in the end. But then likely what I want to do is instead create this message and then have it be their name, right? So have it be Rick, for example, and oh, I I don't know how to pronounce that, and and Sophie. So I think what I'm going to do is take this, put it over here, put the scraper first, and then put this here once all of the data is ready, and then I'm going to provide the name. And here I'm going to do loop over items dot json dot item dot json. There we go. Can we actually map these now? We can't. Okay. I'm going to paste this here and then paste the value. Oh, what have I done? Let me open this. It'll be a bit easier this way. JSON.job title is going to be replaced for description. There we go. Then let's go location, comma space, see, country, space there, delete this, delete. Oh yeah, I'll put it there. Then let's copy this, job type, paste that there. Paste that there. Go down here, take posted, job type. There we go. So now we've replaced all of that. Also, what I want to add now is their name. And then in the name, hopefully we have the name here, first name. And I think that's all we want. Position maybe. Department. I think that's okay now. I'm doing this just so each email can be at least a little bit personalized to each person within the company we send the information to. So let's run this again. Oh, I need to unpin this. Let's run it without it being pinned. Let's look at the messages here. Hi Rick, hi Eula, and hi Sophie. And Dave, stakeholder analyst. Yeah, I still don't like these. I think that's okay. But then this, not okay. I do not like that. But anyway. Now what we're gonna do is, I think now I'll just loop it around to here. So I'm gonna see what happens here. It should only pass one item through. Oh, no, no, no. No, 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 no. Okay, yeah, because it's passing 3 items through here, so what we have to do is add an aggregate node, just so these 3 items here, if I can, just so that these 3 items, oh, you can see these 3 items then turn into 1 item with this aggregate node. So I'm going to add that here. Now it should work. I'm also going to add a wait. I'm going to wait 3 seconds, just so I can stop it without it running a billion times. So let's wait. Changing there you can see 3 items to 1 item. So then these loop over items or data is processed correctly. So that's good. I think I'll also leave the wait there just so we avoid encountering rate limits. I think this could help, especially if you're processing many different leads, many different job posts. I think this could be a good way to go. So now, before, I think then what would make sense is to also add the leads into Instantly, right here. So we're going to add a HTTP request. I don't believe Instantly's, yeah, it's still not a node. HTTP. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go Instantly.ai API, add lead to campaign, lead introduction, Instantly.ai. We need the API. That is under developers though. API Explorer lead, and then we want to create a lead. So this API, then we can see it's a post request and we have this request URL. So I'm going to directly copy this, go back to n8n, paste it here. The method was post. Maybe we have some curl. We do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, import the curl, copy that there. Now bear your API token. So I'm going to head over to Instantly. Go over to settings, account settings, no, integrations, API keys. And then I'm going to delete this one because I don't need it. Create example automation, select scopes, all. And then what have I done? Okay, I need to do that again. Example automation, scopes, all. Scopes, all. Copy that. Go back to n8n and copy that API key there. Because I don't believe Instantly's. Yeah, it's not. It's a bit unfortunate. They should add this node into make.com, n8n. Okay, and then we need to send JSON. So what should this JSON look like? We need the email. We need the campaign ID. So let's head back here. I'm going to add a new chest. Add a new campaign. That campaign ID is up here. Yes. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT to format this into proper JSON. So I'm going to say, can you format this into proper JSON? Campaign, and then I'm going to do the campaign ID, which is right up here in the URL. I'm going to copy that, paste it there. Then I'm going to do email test. I'll just put some example placeholders in there for now. Then personalization. Do we add that? Let me look here. Custom variables, I think, is what we want instead. Custom variables. Because when you add a lead, where am I? When you add a lead into, or add a lead list into Instantly, if Instantly hasn't specified specific variables, for example, an icebreaker message, you cannot choose that in Instantly, so you have to create a custom variable for that icebreaker message to be imported into your Instantly campaign. So what we're going to do here is custom variable, and then it's going to be icebreaker message here. Then, let's see what else it says. Let's see. Do we need anything else? Company name, first name, I think I'll put that in there. I think that could be helpful. First name. Let's do test. Oh, not yet, not yet.
Hey, I'm ready.
No. First name. I'm going to also add the last name. Last name right here. I'll add their website as well. Last name. Jeremy. Website. Website. Personalization. Email campaign. I think that's it. Let's send this over. There we go. Let's go over here. Using JSON, paste that. The website now. Let's replace this, make this an expression. I'm going to open this up. Then the website, I'm going to look for in where? This scrape company's page. No, download snapshot, yes. And then drag and drop their website there. Their first name is, where is that? Where is that? It's not here. Ah, it's here, it's here. Their first name is there. Ah, that's their first name. This is last. Last name, no? Last name. And then first name goes here. Then their email goes in this field. Where's email? Email. Here. Then the campaign ID can stay the same. So there's the campaign ID, and then the icebreaker message is from ChatGPT. So let's collapse all of this. And it's this icebreaker message here. Let's map that into there. We can confirm all the information by looking on the right-hand side, and all of this looks good. Now, the moment of truth. Hopefully this works. Add lead to Instantly.ai. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Let's look. Hi Sophie, custom variable. Error, bad request message body, custom variable must be an object. Okay. So what we do with this, can you make the custom variable an object here? Like this. I saw in the documentation, I thought this might be an issue. If we go down here, it shows the format it needs to be. This little example. So I'm going to provide this example here of what the custom variable needs to be. Like this. So now it should fix itself. This is exactly what you guys can do as well. I just want to show you how easy it really is, right? And or how you can fix this kind of stuff. You can simply really just add the basic information into ChatGPT, and then it will output the JSON you need. Okay, so it looks like that was the issue. Hopefully this works this time. There we go. It looks like it succeeded. We got given back a status of 200 with an OK message. We can confirm it's been added. Let's refresh here. There we can see the 3 leads. We got the contacts, the website, personalization, which hasn't been added, and an icebreaker message. That icebreaker message that we did create within n8n, which is pretty cool. And we used with a variety of different scraping tools, both Hunter and BrightData. So then what you'll do with this is you would connect this then up to there. I'm going to pin this data. You'll connect it back up to here, aggregate, and then wait for 5 seconds to avoid rate limits. Command S. And then you would, or what it would do is it would loop over every single company that you've scraped, company listing that you've scraped from Indeed. So yeah, this is, I think, the core of it done now. We could do something once it's done, maybe send an email to yourself once it's done. Because depending on how much data you're scraping, you could end up getting getting a lot of data, and therefore using up a lot of time to scrape right? Because the scraper will take a lot of time to scrape. I'm messing up my words a little bit. So I think seeing an email would be good. So I'm going to go to Gmail. I'm going to go send a message. Test Gmail, and then I'm going to go to myself. Savvyflow.com. Your leads from Indeed have been added to Instantly. Hey, let's make this an expression. Hey, you have successfully scraped your data from Indeed using BrightData. All information has been put into your Instantly campaign with an icebreaker message. Congratulations. Lots of exclamation marks. Cheers. The best scraper. Bright data. And Sib. Okay. Don't mind the copy there. Don't mind the email. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do here is tick off append to n8n attribution so that their signature isn't at the bottom of the email when it's sent. Send email once flow is finished. I mean, you could also, could we add like maybe some link somewhere? Add lead to Instantly. We've got the campaign ID here. Maybe we could view campaign. Maybe we could construct a URL. So I'm going to copy in this URL, and then I'm going to change this ID for the ID from the add to Instantly AI HTTP node. And then I'm going to say last. There we go. Because it doesn't matter if we pick only the last item because all of the IDs are going to be the same. And the reason that was undefined before item, or was undefined before because it was item.json, but we actually have to specify the exact item that we want to use. So then I just changed this. I changed this variable right here to, instead of saying item, say last with 2 brackets. And then this basically says, hey, I want to extract only the last item that you have, right? And then we extract only the last item for the ID field, because that's what we've mapped here. And then it turns green because we can pinpoint, or n8n can pinpoint the exact data point that we want. And sometimes this is the case. You can also do first, and it doesn't matter for us what data point we picked, whether we picked the first, second, fifth, 10th, because the ID is going to remain the same for each run, or each item that moves through one scenario run or one instance run within n8n, because all of the leads are going to be added to the same campaign. You could also create a campaign, and then if you create a campaign, this would need to be dynamic. If you were to create a new campaign with each new run that you create. And I think that's pretty much it. I think this is pretty much it. This is the entire flow. You can imagine how you could do some pretty cool things with this beyond what I've built today. Today I've built the scraper to scrape from a URL Indeed, right, using BrightData. We have then used that information retrieved from BrightData to extract the company URL of the job posting on Indeed. Then we have extracted the company website and extracted their email. There's 3 layers of of scraping there. Then was extracted their emails from the company Indeed site. And then we've crafted a personalized icebreaker message, which definitely needs working on, And then we've added the lead automatically to an Instantly campaign of your choice. It doesn't always have to be the same. You can imagine how you could search in here, for example, create a campaign API Instantly.ai, and then you could use this create a campaign endpoint to create a campaign and then add the leads to the campaign that you create. I'd imagine this endpoint wouldn't be too difficult. You can just simply copy to clipboard, import this curl, and then you just replace this. The campaign name, choose the name, the schedule, when do you want to send the emails in the day, and the time zone, right? So this is all not too difficult to do, and then you could create a campaign, add the leads to that created campaign. You could do many different things with this. And then it loops over that for each individual lead and then sends you an email once it's finished. Of course, I didn't run it through the entire thing, or I didn't run through entirely to the point where an email is sent, but everything else is completely functional, or everything is completely functional. I'm very confident this will work. And yeah, I don't want to go through 116 items, so yeah. And yeah, so it's pretty cool what you can do. We've kind of had BrightData as the power horse of this automation today. Being able to scrape all of this data, 3 separate layers of scraping, just getting deeper and deeper, extracting more and more information. It's pretty cool what you can do with these scraping tools. When you collect a bunch of them together, you can really start creating some pretty powerful automations. And the sky's your limit. Again, with automation, you can only build more and more upon these and make them more specific to your needs. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next one.